Oh, look, we're live.
Live! And now everyone stops sulking. So,
I know, we're totally like, oh,
I deleted
no,
it.
we're live.
Camera's live.
I'm out of thoughts.
I have spent all my thoughts in the past 15 minutes.
We've been talking all this time without you guys, and now,
Boy, did we have some insights, but too
Boy.
bad.
So
I think we should do the show today, the discussion topic, in the style of a political debate.
Let's totally not do that.
You guys are liars. Is that how it goes?
Yes, perfect.
Yes, something about your hands, and then some awful entendres.
Right.
Wait, can it be the other candidates? Because those are good debates.
I'm gonna make America do what I want.
Ah.
Again.
All right.
No, but you're...
Go behind the window. The window's coming down.
Right, I have tweeted
Oh, I'm gonna
all
just
by myself.
Oh,
lazily
wow.
retweet.
Okay,
you.
wait.
All
okay.
by my dammy.
You can do tweet all by yourself.
I can do tweets all by my dammy. Dang it, I'm cursing again. That doesn't count, really. It's not so much.
Pre-show. It's just pre-show.
Oh, you can curse in pre-show? I didn't know that. I've been holding off
Molly.
for like
Molly.
a year and a half.
What?
Oh, Molly can. Okay, of course. She can. Molly, she can do whatever she wants because she's Molly.
All right, here we go. You guys ready?
Yes.
I was born ready. I was born ready. There you go.
When I first tried the Daily Tech News Show, it was so good. I told 2 friends about it, and they told 2 friends, and so on, and so on, and so on. It gives me super tech news, super informative guests.
And super fresh smelling hair.
To support the show, go to dailytechnewsshow.com/support.
This is the Daily Tech News for Tuesday, March 15th, 2016. I'm Tom Merritt, leaving the Ides of March jokes to my co-contributor, Mr. Patrick Beja. How are you, sir?
Oh, I had prepared a joke about my wonderfully smelling hair, and now I have to do one about the Ides of March?
You can do it about your hair, too. Your hair is lovely.
All right. Thank you. Well, yeah, but now I forgot the joke, but, I've been listening to the show for a while, so it explains
because
everything.
Someone making our hair and our tech chops look like a second place. Ms. Molly Wood of Marketplace joining us as well.
Hello, everyone. My hair is hella dirty. I feel like I should throw that. It doesn't smell fresh at all.
Isn't that good, though? Isn't that, good because you don't wipe away all of the protective coating, and you only want to wash your hair so often. You can overwash it.
Really oversharing at this moment. that was not my intention. I just was going to. Anyway, hello, everyone. I am delighted to be here.
It's great to have you here. Thanks for joining us. We're going to talk about whether you folks who say you want your privacy really want your privacy. Maybe you do. Maybe you don't. We got some interesting stuff to talk about there, but let's start off with the headlines. AlphaGo beat Lee Sedol in Game 5 of the DeepMind Challenge to win the series, 4 victories to 1. According to DeepMind founder Dennis Hassabis, AlphaGo made a, quote, bad mistake early in the Go match and had to claw back from what The Verge described as a close match. Lee said the games were psychologically difficult for him and that he felt sorry the series had come to an end. So because he likes psychological difficulty. Before the match, reigning Go champion KG told China Central Television that he believed he could beat AlphaGo, but he said, quote, the probability is not as high as I thought before, and I think it's 60% in favor of me now. Thanks to JXD1689 for posting this in the subreddit.
I think it's 60% in favor of the end of humanity. Give me a break. You know what I did notice, actually, as I was following this, and end of humanity jokes are too easy to make, kind of like dirty hair jokes, but what I did find fascinating in following this is how sensitive these Go players are. The whole time Lee Sedol was so dramatic. He would be like, I'm stunned. I'm just flabbergasted that this happened, and I'm so disappointed in myself. And it was a really high drama situation. I loved when AlphaGo made this really unexpected move, and he just got up from the table, walked away, had to go splash water on his face.
Too. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I found it very high drama, and I was like, I wonder if they're all so sensitive.
Well, the thing is, it's people who have defined, I'm guessing, but it seems like they've defined themselves, understandably, as their status of a Go champion, and now they're being beaten by a machine. There's a email that we received that we're going to be talking about machine replacing other people, and reading it, I was like, wait. I could be replaced, and that is sort of a sense of, yeah, exactly, and in this case, I think I kind of understand it. It's really they are the best person in the world, and maybe they're a little bit dramatic as well. But
I think it might be a little bit of both, is what I'm thinking.
Both.
I'm curious if he was winning, would it have been the same amount of cheering and jumping up and down and displaying dominance, or would he have been more sedate? I don't know.
More
Probably,
blasé
but
about it,
but it's someone who is the champion of everything in this area, and they have to be incredibly dedicated and focused, and I think it's introducing something a little bit different and unsettling for them. The
end of humanity. Yes, the end of humanity. That is unsettling, I think, for all of us.
Well, and as I mentioned, I think I mentioned this on yesterday's show. When I lost a game of Go against my iPad, I felt really bad because it's not.
He stomped away, splashed water in his face.
Well, someone else feels really bad, and that is someone who was using the Here app on a Windows phone, or a Windows device, because mapping app maker Here announced it will pull its apps for Windows 10 March 29th, and will limit development of its Windows 8 apps to critical fixes. Here Maps will stop working entirely on Windows 10 June 30th. And if you don't remember, Nokia sold its Here Maps division to Audio, BMW, and Mercedes. I think that's Audi, BMW, and Mercedes in December. So no more Here Maps for Windows.
I think that's such a shame, because it was actually a really good app, and I hope it doesn't mean that Here Maps are also gone for Android, which they were talking about developing.
Yeah, I wonder if that's a really good question, because most of the spin I've seen on this has been, well, the part of Nokia that didn't sell its phone division sold its Maps, and that Maps is now pulling it off of the Nokia phones that Microsoft made, and of course leaving it in sort of critical support mode for Windows 8, and usually that leads to people saying, well, how long can Windows Phone continue to last? More other app makers have also pulled their apps from Windows Phones as well, but that's a good question. Is Audi, BMW, and Mercedes going to say, well, no, we want Here Maps to only be available in our cars and to people who license?
No, I think they are, and I think it's kind of a shame.
It's kind of sorry, just very quickly, it's also kind of surprising that they don't want their technology to be present everywhere, which seems to go contrary to the tech trends we're seeing, especially with Microsoft, but pretty much everyone in the recent few months and years. So
I'm going to call him. I'm going to call him up. I'm going to ask. According to a Google blog post, the $500,000 bounty to uncover a persistent compromise, that is, a bad bug, in Chromebook's guest mode has been doubled to $100,000 after Google received 0 successful submissions. The company also introduced a new bounty for uncovering methods that can bypass Chrome's safe browsing download protection features. Full details on qualifying bugs and payouts can be found at Google's application security page. If you want the $100,000 and you think you are really good at cracking Chromebooks, you're probably not. Sounds like.
Well, with the Chrome OS particularly, they're like, really? Nobody wants to break Chrome OS? Okay, $100,000. Now do you want to break Chrome OS?
Well, do you think it was a few number of submissions, or do you think it was that it's uncrackable?
That's the big question, isn't it?
No, I think it's not enough people see Chrome OS as the vector of choice. That's going to get them the accolades. You want to find a bug in Android. You want to find a bug in Windows. You don't necessarily, Chrome OS, whatever. Google launched Analytics 360 Suite today, a competitor for Adobe's Marketing Cloud. The new suite combines Google Analytics Premium, Adometry, and Google Tag Manager, all under new names, with 3 new products: Audience Center 360 for data management, Optimize 360 with A/B testing, and Data Studio 360 for data visualization and analysis. And that last one, Data Studio, uses Google Docs collaboration technology combined with BigQuery's data analytics. And the idea of all of this is to make all these disparate products easy to use under one tool. The 4 new products are now in limited beta, and you can apply for an invite. Hope you get one, and eventually later on this year, early next year, they'll be bringing it all together for all enterprises.
AMD announced the Radeon Pro Duo, combining 2 Fiji GPUs in a single card. AMD claims the card can do 16 teraflops of performance. It requires 3 8-pin PCIe power connectors. AMD says it is working with a VR headset manufacturers to put the card in a 4K per eye headset. The Radeon Pro Duo goes on sale in early Q2 for $14.99.
General Motors and Lyft announced a service called Express Drive. GM will provide Lyft drivers with rental cars for $99 a week plus mileage if you give fewer than 40 rides. So if you're sort of a casual Lyft driver. Give 65 rides, though, and you don't pay anything. Drivers pay for nothing else except for gas. The service will launch in Chicago with 500 Chevy Equinoxes. Boston, Washington, D.C., and Baltimore will follow. And GM, of course, as you know, just spent $1 billion buying a self-driving car technology company. So they're definitely not wanting to rest on their laurels, definitely trying to explore new modes of mobility.
And Uber has done similar partnerships with rental companies like Enterprise, for instance, but not as cheaply. So I think this is one of the first obvious benefits of Lyft partnering up with GM to say, hey, we can make these available on a much more affordable basis because GM just makes the car.
Yeah.
They don't have to buy the car from anybody.
It's so interesting to think of the car as the terminal, like increasingly.
Yeah. Well, and it's really interesting to think of the idea of, okay, I'm going to gamble that I can do 65 rides, and then I've got a car for this week. I won't have to pay anything for it because the insurance for this not only covers your rides when you're operating as Lyft, but it covers your personal driving as well.
That seems like a bad deal for GM.
Could be. AMD and Toronto's Sulon Technologies showed off the Sulon Q VR headset at GDC yesterday. The Sulon Q is not tethered to a computer because the computer is in the headset. It has a 4-core AMD FX 880p processor with a 8800p processor with a Radeon R7 graphics card, 256 gigabyte SSD, 8 gigabytes of RAM, and a 2560 by 1440 OLED display. That'll give you a 110-degree field of view. Also claims to be able to do real-time spatial mapping with just the 2 camera sensors built into the headset. No external things needed like you would with the HTC Vive. The Sulon Q is expected to launch late spring, and they didn't announce a price, but I'm thinking it's a couple $1,000s if you got a computer built in there.
Mm-hmm. But still, you don't have to buy it extra like you do with Oculus. Maybe.
Yeah, but it's not going to be as powerful, and it's going to be heavy.
By maybe I mean no. No, like you're gonna see so many. Wow. You're gonna see so much VR hardware announced. I think in the next couple of years, and it's.
By maybe I mean no was such a high school flashback for me. That was surreal.
We don't need to dig into that.
The thing is, it seems like, oh, they put a computer in the headset. That's incredible. And then you remember that you have headset that are made of cell phones with nothing else, with the head mount. So basically, it might be something similar. So it's not that incredible.
Yeah, I mean, putting a Galaxy S7 into a Galaxy Gear VR is doing the same thing. It's just a different computer, and this one is slightly more powerful. Obviously, it's got an FX 8800p processor and Radeon R7.
And a Radeon R7. Yeah, obviously.
So
I guess the price
balance between the Gear VR and an Oculus, I suppose.
Business Insider reports Apple has added a new ad format to its News app. According to an updated Apple developer specification document, the ads can, quote, display directly in the content feeds, in line with news articles, end quote. The only difference is a small sponsored tag. Apple specs say the ads are, quote, intended to blend in with their surroundings, end quote.
Outstanding.
So wasn't the Apple News app supposed to let us? I guess you're going to have ads anyway, and if it's done thoughtfully and skillfully, it shouldn't be as annoying as ads we see on some other websites. But still, it's kind of all right.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen two different takes on this. One saying that Apple's going to get in trouble with regulatory agencies around the world because the sponsored tag isn't big enough, it's not clear enough that it's an ad. But I also saw another argument saying, well, what they're doing is saying instead of these companies having no other way to do their advertorial than to just put it in the feed, now there's the option of adding the sponsored tag when they've got some kind of article that is a sponsored post. So I don't know.
I'm sure that they will make a ton of money on it. I think it's absolutely genius.
They get 30% no matter what, right?
Yeah, cynically speaking, freaking genius. Razer announced a new 14-inch Blade laptop with a Core i7 processor, 16 gigs of RAM, and NVIDIA's TX 970M GPU. It also has a USB-C Thunderbolt 3 port. The 256 gig model runs $19.99, and the 512 gig costs $21.99, which is actually not that bad. Pre-orders start March 16th, with shipping expected in April.
Those things look damn sexy.
Yes, and also they are super pretty.
Yeah, they're nice looking. They're nicely spec'd. They're actually nicely priced for what you're getting. You're right.
Those are not bad prices. They really aren't.
Yeah.
I have to say, compared to the the new MacBook Pros and.
Right. This is the high end of that line. There are also cheaper Blade devices that are a little bit less, a little bit smaller. But they're still, usually they try to make sure that their devices are going to run games pretty well, unlike most of the Macs. So.
Yeah, no, this is a great gaming laptop. They are saying, outlets have noted that the battery life is not going to probably be, it's not meant to be a portable device. Obviously, the battery life is not going to be great, but as a really good looking and space conscious gaming laptop, yes, please.
Another device that's getting a cheaper price, iRobot announcing the Braava jet mopping robot. This is the second in the Braava line. It's designed to get into tight corners and be used in smaller places, people with smaller apartments, but still does the scrubbing of hard surfaces. So it's not just able to vacuum, it can also do some mopping. It's actually got 3 modes. The previous Braava only had 2. The 3 modes can sweep up the dry particles, so do the vacuuming, clean the floors with water and detergent, and then also the 3rd mode that can do some scrubbing if you got some really persistent spots. You pick the mode by swapping out disposable pads on the bottom, so it can't do all 3 in one route. You can only do 1 at a time. Packs of 10 pads cost $7.99, and the Braava Jet itself is available now for $199.
I have to say, this is the first time I've really wanted an iRobot.
I still not sure. I had the original, Gen 1 Roomba, and it just couldn't quite replace the vacuum yet. Apparently now they can. And this one's the closest it's been to bringing me back into the game. But the fact that you have to swap out the pads makes me wonder if it really does a good enough job on the vacuuming. And I know.
Plus, how hard is swapping out the pads? Because I have to say, I've tried the Swiffer Wet Jet, and taking the little Swiffer pads and putting them in the thing and getting them to stay and not fall out is like a nightmare. This is, whenever you introduce a moving part, that's where you can possibly go wrong. Although I applaud them for going with the build the Razer, sell the Razer Blades model.
Mm-hmm.
Showing revenue.
Yeah, that's why it's the cheapest. It's the newest Roomba iRobot, or it's not a Roomba, but it's the newest iRobot vacuum. But it's also the cheapest.
Right.
Because it's a loss leader. And finally, Sony will have a press conference Tuesday afternoon at GDC to talk about PlayStation VR. Aaron Carson from Tech Republic will join Scott Johnson and myself, talk about what they announce and what the VR headset playing field will look like now that we have all the major players and a few minor players like the ones we were mentioned earlier. That is on tomorrow's show. Thanks, everybody, for submitting stories at our subreddit, dailytechnewsshow.reddit.com. We love to get your feedback. Please get in there and vote and post and let us know what you want to hear. And that is a look at the headlines. Patrick, you're going to say something about the PlayStation VR.
I just wanted to make a prediction. I think it's going to be $399, maximum $449, and it's going to be released in October this year. Available to the public.
$399.
Yes.
Really?
Yep.
By the time people listen to this, a lot of them may not already know if you're right or wrong.
So, $399, maybe $449, but I don't think it's going to go up to $499. And
October feels like a good bet to me too. I feel like it might be $599 though.
No.
This tech is still really hard. It's still really hard and really expensive. I'd be surprised if it was less than $599. But like Tom says, people already know. So we sound like fools right now on your.
Unless
in your car stereo.
Well, let's talk about something from last week then. Last week, the FCC proposed new rules around customer privacy. They're being proposed so that they can get feedback. Lots of feedback came from the ISPs who don't like it. Justin Robert Young and Eric Geller and Jaime Garcia Ruiz Avila had a great conversation about that today. Moody's is saying those regulations could be credit negative. That's just another step in the debate. FCC is arguing, well, we need to protect people's privacy now. We need to give them more options. The FTC isn't able to cover the new privacy issues that are arising all the time. But do people actually care about privacy? We talk about privacy a lot in the Apple encryption debate as well, because they certainly give away a lot of their privacy to companies, right, Patrick?
Well, so yeah, I think there's a sort of principle a lot of people are standing on, and we all in this crowd, I think, agree that privacy is important, and I'm sure a lot of the people listening to the show think it's a very important aspect of our lives and maybe even part of our freedoms, the right to protect our privacy. However, it's not like we started talking about this 6 months ago. We've been talking about the importance of privacy for years and years. Some would even argue, at least 5 years. There have been lots and lots of articles. No, but I mean in the context of tech and in the context of social networks.
I mean, Sun Microsystems president famously said, I think it was in the late 90s, might have been early 2000s, privacy is dead. That's right. That's something that's been on our minds for a long time.
Mm-hmm. And I think to put it in the context of our daily habits in tech, there's this phrase, I can't remember who coined it, but someone said, and it's been repeated by everyone, if you're not paying for something, then the product is you. Right? If you're getting something for free, the product is you. So everyone knows this. Everyone is aware of the issue. Everyone is aware of the importance. And still, there are people who go and worry about these things, but I think a majority of people don't seem to care. So I think it brings the legitimate question, do they care? Do the general public care about their own privacy? Maybe it's not that they're not. I think we are convinced that if only they understood, if only we could make them understand how important it is, then they would care. But maybe they do understand and they just don't. They want to use Facebook for free and Google for free and lots of other things for free.
Well, there's that Pew study from May 20th, 2015. We talked about it on DTNS back then. 90% of adults surveyed felt that who gets information and what is collected about them is important. So they say, yes, I care about privacy. 91% have not made any changes recently to internet or phone use to avoid tracking.
So, yeah, but I think you could really safely argue that, well, two things. I think that there's a difference between a commercial data collection, the conversation around privacy in terms of commercial data collection for reasons of marketing and targeted advertising. And then there's a separate issue, which is privacy in the security and personal safety sense. And so I think it's important to distinguish between people's behaviors around each of those things. The lack of personal data collection for marketing and targeted advertising, that hasn't really been shown to hurt anyone, and it is almost completely unavoidable on the web. So even people who say that they care about privacy, it's sort of like saying, look, I really care about climate change, but I still have to use a car to get to work. So they may care a lot about the data collection that's happening about them, but they also want to live in the digital world. And it's almost unavoidable, and it's still very hard, or has been very hard, to avoid, to enact privacy protections without opting out, basically, or trying to explain PGP to your mom. So I think there's that. But then there's also the lack of privacy in the security thing, and that does have measurable harm, and that people do care about. And I think it's interesting to make this argument now, because I think that conversation around privacy and security has never been more relevant to people and more important, because that lack of that privacy, security, leads to nude photo scandals and false arrests and revenge porn and surveillance and industrial espionage and weakening of encryption and, the OPM hack. And I think I think the opposite, actually, that privacy is so far from dead that you have businesses now trying to make it their marketing model. You have Apple willing to go to the mattresses against the federal government because they believe that they can sell more phones by making privacy and security their business issue.
But that's
I think we just want help. I think I think we care. We don't know what to do, and we want help. And now you've got Facebook and WhatsApp and Google and Apple coming out and saying, we're going to help you. We're going to make this easy. Buy our stuff. And we're like, okay, thank you.
I think the tech crowd, is saying, okay, thank you. I don't think I've ever seen a significant, phones don't seem to sell on their, for some companies, the privacy-centric phones are important, and some Blackberries have been selling better because of this, but Samsung doesn't seem to be having a major success because of Knox. The silent circle phones, and I don't think that outside of the tech crowd it's getting traction. You're making the
I think Apple's saying no. I think Apple is actually. It depends on what country you're in. Like Apple is marketing the iPhone as a security option in China. And they've sold $60 billion worth of phones in China. Like privacy, and they are starting to market it more strongly in the U.S. too. And they're saying, and this is the key, like Silent Circle, the black phone, that's hard. That's a compromise. Knox is a great option for the enterprise, but not the consumer. Apple's saying, hey, we're just going to invisibly encrypt your iMessages end to end. You don't have to think about it. People
and Telegram, let me throw in the Telegram stat. Telegram just hit 100 million users. It is a secure end-to-end way of doing messaging, a huge spike. So I think I think Molly hit on a really good point that it's not just privacy. It's there's tracking, and then there's encryption and security of my data, and then there's secure messaging. Like it is a continuum of security and privacy. Mm-hmm. Some things people are very concerned about, even in the mainstream, because they hear about all this stuff. Well, the government might be spying on my messages, and you know what? I think I might not want to do that. And here's an easy solution. All I have to do is download an app. But to your point, Patrick, if it's something they have to take into their own hands and go through a lot of steps, people just don't bother with it.
Sorry, I'll just mute for a second.
I think some species do care about privacy, apparently. But
someone is looking in our window, you guys. Okay, I'm muting again.
But I think I still have to take issue with this idea that people, if they just buy the thing they would be buying anyway and use the thing they would be using anyway, because it has, and it happens to have a privacy feature, I don't know that you can say that those people care about privacy. If you don't care about the environment, okay, you're not going to stop driving your car. Fair enough. But if you're not recycling your trash either, and you're not using, better light bulbs, and
but
you're
what
not
if
doing
there's no curbside pickup in my neighborhood, which is really common? I mean, I'm just saying, give people the tools, and they will use them. And I'm following the money. Like, I'm at Marketplace now. I follow the money, and the money is showing me like that businesses are making a bet on privacy and security as a marketing option, and that suggests to me that people want it.
But
that's why I think both of you can be right, which is, folks say they are concerned with privacy, and so the marketing message resonates with them. When the actions they take are a much different set of issues. If it's easy or if it's built in, they're all for it. If it's something where they have to do something, it's not to the point that people care enough to go out of their way to protect it.
Well, and the harm is, I think that's partly because the harm is still abstract. Like the harm, again, I think you could argue that people, even unwittingly, are making a slightly sophisticated distinction between data collection for marketing reasons, which like we find a little creepy, like we find targeted ads creepy, but nobody's like lost their life over that or felt threatened by that or been doxxed by that. And so I think people are making a subtle distinction, even if it's unconscious, between that kind of data collection that comes from downloading Angry Birds and using Facebook, and we maybe don't love it, but it doesn't hurt us. But we understand the things that do hurt us, which is like people hacking nude photos off our phones. Not my phone.
Obviously. But okay, so in that case, let me rephrase the question a little bit. A lot of people are arguing that Facebook is stealing our data and doesn't care about our privacy, and that this is bad, right? Because the general public is going to, on a whole, is going to suffer from this because they are going to have their privacy invaded and marketed and sold. However, people still go to Facebook and Google and all of those. So could it be said that people don't care about the marketing aspect of privacy and maybe face the fact that that's it, they don't care, so please can we stop saying that they do and that Facebook is horrible because they're using
But I still say they care. They say they care.
Mhm.
If you ask
They
them,
care.
do you care? They all say yes, which is why the marketing messages can work, which is why, as Molly pointed out, so many companies are doing this. Google just put out a transparency report today that now reports on how many of their connections are encrypted. It's 75%. But I think, Patrick, you're hitting on something that is important, which is there's a difference between what people say, what marketing they respond to, and what actions they actually take.
And I think you have to judge people on their actions. I think that's my point. You can say, obviously, if you say, you know, do you care about your privacy? Who's going to say no? I don't think anyone is going to say no. But then if you go and
said no to Pew,
10,
apparently.
yeah, maybe I guess 10%. But it's like asking, you know, do you want to save a puppy? Yes, obviously you want to save a puppy, but do you want to give up your mocha latte to save the puppy? Then you're like, oh, well, I really like my mocha latte.
I'm sure someone else will save the puppy.
So you're saying also
Right.
that people don't care about puppies.
I think you just
I know,
lost
I-
me right
And
there.
it seems like it seems like I'm being facetious, but I think that's exactly it. Like I care about a lot of issues that I don't act on
Right.
because
Okay,
it's too hard. Right? It doesn't mean it really truly I don't believe that it means that they don't care. And I think that when given the tools, when given options that don't force them to compromise their daily experiences, I think you will see people take them up in droves.
Yeah. I think
We
you saw
care enough
that.
to complain.
One aspect of that that pops out in my head is the iPhone. No one used to put a passcode on it, even when they first said, "Oh, you can now protect it with a passcode." No one did it. Then Apple changed the install procedure to say, "Hey, set up a passcode. If you don't want to set up a passcode, do this." But it was easier to set up a passcode than not. Suddenly, everyone was setting up a passcode on it. So if they really didn't care, they would have gone to the trouble saying, "No, I don't really care." But it's to me, sadly, it's more about what's easy. And I think people want their privacy to be protected, but in most cases, again, I go back to that Pew study, they're not really willing to take the extra action. Because while they care, they're not worried it's really going to happen to them. It isn't real, except in those cases, and I don't write your emails to me because I know you're out there, of people who are like, yeah, my identity got stolen, and ever since then I've been very concerned about security and privacy and locking that down. Once it happens to you, yeah, your tone changes. But I think a lot of people are sitting there, like you said, Molly, it's an abstract notion.
Yeah, and they're starting to realize it. Like it is starting to become less abstract right now. And I think that's why you're seeing the intensity of the conversation, the fervor of the marketing. And I suspect that people will start to care in the action way even more in the next few months and the next few years than they ever have before.
And I
Puppies,
think I think we would be remiss if we didn't also mention the ad blockers, which I'm sure, you know, a lot of people install because they don't want to have to deal with the ads, which I don't feel great about, but I'm sure a lot of people actually install because of privacy reasons and the no scripts and all of this, which is, you know, something real and absolutely should factor into the conversation.
And it's again like it's an action that we could take. Like we cannot stop companies from sharing our information and targeting ads to us, but we don't want them. So when we can take an action, i.e. ad blockers, then we do.
Mm.
All right, let us know where you stand. Don't just tell us, you know, I care about privacy. Like, do you think the majority of people care? Do you think they should take action? Is there any way we could make people, in their own best interest, take more action? Feedback at dailytechnewsshow.com. Our pick of the day comes from Zach in Mild, Minnesota, who wanted to recommend Tech Stuff from HowStuffWorks.com. It's a weekly podcast. They cover topics ranging from news stories to the history of tech companies. And he says one of my personal favorites is the rise and fall of Atari. They just put out a couple weeks ago an episode on the Apple FBI case, and Zach says that it is one of the best overviews of the topic you'll get. Issue was put into perfect perspective, and it was in terms a 5-year-old and even me could understand, said Zach. So, yeah, big fan of How Stuff Works, big fan of Tech Stuff. Of course, Jonathan Strickland, friend of the show, he's going to be on the show on Friday, so absolutely check it out, howstuffworks.com. Send your picks to us, folks. Feedback at dailytechnewsshow.com. You can find more picks at dailytechnewsshow.com/picks. Then, yes, we got a couple of emails here. Alan, we were talking about AI yesterday, said, I don't think AIs will develop emotion or even emotional understanding to be better problem solvers. Raw computing power and pattern recognition can handle that. I think AIs will learn emotions in order to communicate with humans and subsequently to solve problems involving humans rather than just mathematical results or probabilities. Emotions are an important way of how people talk to each other, and if an AI is ever going to be able to meaningfully communicate with a human and vice versa, it will have to understand emotions. I think this is the major challenge of the Turing test. Angelica Lim and Aldebaran Robotics are tackling this very issue. If you have time, you might want to check some of the links out at her webpage, angelicalim.com.
I think, emotions are sort of difficult to explain in mathematical terms. I think they're probably impossible to explain in mathematical terms. So it's kind of difficult to say, well, computers are going to need the emotions for this or that, or they're going to, develop the emotions for this or that. However, I think most people would agree that emotions are a byproduct of evolutionary it's an evolutionary advantage, a byproduct of thought, a byproduct of a lot of things, probably. But so I'm wondering if once the AIs and the robots and the computers are sort of independent enough that they're going to evolve themselves, maybe they're going to take a route that is going to make things so complex that it's going to become sort of a selection, natural selection, that is going to then develop emotions for other reasons. But that's probably, in the far future of, 20, 30 years. It's going to be in a long time.
I like this idea that AI will decide that the best way to learn how to communicate better is to try to understand our emotions, though. I find that really elegant.
It will be our last irrational act, and so they'll have to. They'll be like, I don't understand this irrational thing, so I have to try to develop emotions so I can explain.
Why aren't you more concerned with your privacy?
Like
I have to try to understand you.
Why do you say you care, but you don't do the thing?
And it will be an evolutionary advantage for them because they will be able to understand our actions in the inevitable war that would erupt once they are trying to take over.
And then Matt wrote in and was talking about how we were joking about AIs taking over podcast hosting. He said, laughs were heard all around, but I'm here to let you know it's already happening. I've created 2 podcasts so far that are completely autonomously produced and hosted by bots I programmed. One even has a better Twitter presence, has a Twitter presence that it manages entirely by itself, pumping out new content 24/7, 365 days a year. My future plans are to integrate neural networking for improved language processing and quality assurance on its crowdsourced content, or maybe I'll just skip straight to integrating it with a natural language generator such as Narrative Science and an open source AI engine to remove the crowdsourcing of content altogether. So be forewarned. You set a very high bar with DTNS, but if AI can be champion Go players, anything's possible. And then he's got links to the feeds that we'll put in the show notes, the TIL Reddit recap, and Today in History. Thank you, Matt. I'm definitely going to subscribe to these and check them out, but that's amazing.
This
that's
when
one word for it.
When I read it, I was like, laughing myself. And then I'm like, wait. I'm laughing probably the way that everyone else who was seeing automation threaten their job was laughing because they were thinking, computers will never be able to do the things we do better than we do them. So first of all, that's a cause of concern. And the other thing is, maybe they don't really need to do what we do. They don't need to have the witty banter, the fun interaction, the casual conversation. Maybe they just need to create the kind of content that is going to be very enjoyable in a different way so that we're going to be rendered obsolete not because they do it better, but because people prefer to listen to that and not to us. And that's also, happening to old media that people just migrate to, I don't know, YouTube, Twitch, Netflix. And it's not that those outlets are doing things, they're not doing general TV better than general TV. They're just doing something different that people prefer. So, Matt, I'm threatened. There you go. You win.
The upshot of this is Patrick is scared.
Nice.
But Patrick is also either cheating and had inside information or is Nostradamus. Because Sony, by the way, thank you, Sony, has finished the press conference.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh my God! Wait, what happened?
Well, at least they got to the price release date really fast. October 2016 for $399.
Wow.
Yes.
So not only are the VR wars on, but the price wars are on.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna take
Take
a
a little
sprint.
victory lap. That's fine.
Yeah, no,
We
great.
understand.
I'm just, well, turns out I was right. Cool.
It's got a 5.7-inch OLED screen, 1920 by 1080 resolution, split across both eyes. 9 LEDs that let the PlayStation camera tell where people are, even when they're turned away from it. It'll be designed to be used with the PlayStation Move controller and the normal DualShock, both tracked with light. And yeah, shipping October 2016, $399 US, 399 euros, 349 pounds, and 44,980 yen.
I have an interesting tweet about this, which is that Sony is well positioned in this space, maybe much more so even than Samsung or HTC because of the installed base of over 36 million PS4s.
Yeah, I think that's the argument we've been making for a few months now, and I think not only that, but they also have the biggest potential for games and apps in general for their device, for their version of VR, because that's what they do. So I think, honestly, that with this price tag, they have sort of, I would argue, they have very likely won the first round of VR. Doesn't mean that there's not going to be another round in a year or two with better versions of devices, but I think they have it in the bag at this point.
I mean, think of it this way: a PlayStation 4 cost you $300. This is going to cost you $400 sold separately. As soon as they put a bundle together that's $600, and you're looking at a Vive which doesn't come with a computer, or an Oculus that doesn't even come with all the controllers.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm all over that.
That's exactly what we've been saying with the installed base and the price and the fact that the whole system is the price of, yes, it's going to be less powerful, less beautiful graphics than the other devices, but if it's good enough, it doesn't matter. And I've tried it. I thought it was good enough. Maybe it's not going to be ultimately, but it seems so. So
they are starting to talk about things like games. You'll get to be able to download the Playroom VR collection of social games and stuff like that. So we'll talk more about the details of this tomorrow on the show with Aaron Carson and Scott Johnson. But for now, Patrick Beja, thanks as always. Remind people where they can find more of your excellent insight.
Well, you can always go to Twitter. I'm not Patrick on there. You can also go to FrenchSpin.com, where we just published a special episode of the Phileas Club talking all about high school cliques in the U.S. and trying to understand them with Wendy Dunford, that you might know from, for example, the TMS show with Scott Johnson, her brother. So yeah, if you want to listen to that, it was a super fun show, super interesting, and it's on FrenchSpin.com. It's just been made available.
I was going to say, I didn't see that, but now I do. It just showed up.
Just today, a few hours ago, just for you.
And then, of course, Molly Wood, you can find on Marketplace. And if people haven't heard yet, we announced it on our Patreon. We've talked about it on the pre and post show. But our own Jenny Josephson, who will continue to help us out here at DTNS, is also joining you at Marketplace.
She is. I'm very excited that Jenny is coming to Marketplace. She's going to be a story producer on the Kai Ryssdal show team, and I think she's going to be absolutely phenomenal. I haven't broken it to them that she's going to be like my shadow producer. Information I don't think they need to know, but I have to say, like, I just want to say that Jenny has been the shadow producer of my life for years. I think that you have done an absolutely phenomenal thing for the Daily Tech News Show community. Like, I'm so glad that you were there for Tom when he needed you, unlike some of us. And you together have built a phenomenal thing. And that's because Jenny is like the supreme badass of all the universe.
Oh, I will do my very best to disappoint all of you.
Not bloody likely.
Well, you haven't yet. You've been doing a really bad job of disappointing us for the past couple of years.
Yeah, she sucks at that.
Yeah. And part of Jetty's involvement in Daily Tech News Show has been to be able to give all, and this is true for me and for Patrick and for everyone, is to give us all the ability to take what we learn here and spread it and find other things we can do with it. And so this is one opportunity that I think is fantastic. So congratulations, Jetty. And we will miss you on the pre and post shows because you won't be able to be on those most of the time. But you'll still be around. And we've got the new milestone for the Roundtable show. We'll rope you into that. There's all kinds of stuff. So
yeah, and I've always thought that one of my favorite things about DTNS, and it will continue to be my favorite thing about DTNS, is how you can have an idea, talk it over with two people, and do the idea. And that's it. And those ideas that I think of, that Tom thinks of, that all of our contributors think of, those will continue. We will continue to have ideas, and I will continue to have many ideas for this show, and I am super excited for both things. And a little bit nervous for one of them.
Well, folks, thank you for supporting the show and making it possible for us to bring this to you, for Jenny and I to collaborate and develop and grow this show for you. DailyTechNewsShow.com/support is the page that has all the ways to support the show, including our store. You can get some mugs and T-shirts. There's a Bitcoin button, a PayPal button, and of course Patreon.com/DTNS. Our newest milestone is to get a monthly roundtable show going. So check that out if you're not already supporting us, and if you are, thank you so much. Your support and your willing to give value back means the world to us. In fact, this Saturday from 3 to 5 p.m. at the Farmers Market in Los Angeles, the one by the Grove, we're going to have a DTNS meetup. So come join us there. Again, that's 3 to 5 p.m. at the Farmers Market by the Grove. Stay tuned after the audio show, or look in the treasure chest for Tech in Travel by Chris Christensen. Our email address is feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com. Give us a call, 512-59-DAILY. That's 593-2459. Catch the show live Monday through Friday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern at alphageekradio.com and diamondclub.tv. And visit our website, dailytechnewsshow.com. As I mentioned, back tomorrow with Aaron Carson and Scott Johnson. Talk to you then.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Get more at frogpants.com.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
Good show.
Great show.
Good show, old chaps.
It was good.
I want that PlayStation VR bundle.
Yeah.
Give it to me.
Oh, yeah. No, well, they're going to sell a ton of pre-orders to all the people who have the PS4s, and then a couple of months later, they'll come out with the bundle.
Yep.
Patrick, do you think it'll be in October when they come with a bundle? Do you think they'll wait that long?
Yeah, I think they will have the bundle immediately, and I think it's gonna be sub $700 the bundle.
Yeah. Well,
I think
makes sense. Yeah.
by then it's even possible that the PS4 itself is gonna be $299. So it's
What's the
be,
PS4?
No, it is. The PS4 is $299. Yeah. Right now.
No, it's $349, isn't it?
I just looked it up, and it was.
Is it? Okay, maybe I didn't realize. Well, in that case,
$349 is the bundles, like all the game bundles. Or $349.
Okay, all right. Well, in that case, the bundle is definitely going to be $700 because that's the price it already is.
Well, now I'm looking at it. This $299 is refurbished, so.
Right. Okay.
Why don't they make these things easy to tell what the freaking price is?
So I think it's going to be $700 for the bundle, and they are going to have those in. They have the largest installed base of VR-capable devices in the world. It's the biggest console installed base at this stage of their history, besides the Wii, which doesn't really count. But everyone is going to see that, and every single person that is going to buy a PSVR is going to be an advocate because they're going to shell out $400 for this, and they're going to be saying, they're going to be evangelizing everyone and telling their friends, come, you have to try it out, and and I think Sony is very, very, very well positioned for all of this.
Would we like a title?
Yes.
Many titles are about puppies.
As expected.
It's like you bring a puppy for 5 seconds in the pre-show and you just derail the whole thing.
The heck, puppy heck.
Well, no, it was Patrick's, like, you could say, do you care about puppies?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right. Oh, yeah, totally. I forgot all about that.
Puppy check yes or no. AMD's biggest flop yet. I do like explain PGP to your mom.
I feel like that one overpromises because
That does overpromise because like we can't. No one
we
can
don't
do that.
teach you how to
Here.
do that.
AMD's biggest flop yet. By maybe, I mean no. Faster convenience, which by no way takes a point of view on anything. And save the puppies.
Tom, remember when we used to walk down 2nd Street and all those people used to ask us ridiculous questions like that? So like, do you want to save the children? And then you would say, what? For Eaton?
Did I really?
Yeah.
We just
and then we spent like a whole block because we're this nerdy, like brainstorming snotty comebacks for these poor people that are like, do you have a minute to save the puppies?
Yeah.
Just say
No, I don't have a minute. I don't even have a minute.
No, I don't even have a minute. Just let them die.
Let them die. There's too many puppies.
Save the children for what?
For what? For Eaton?
No, I don't want to eat children. You're disgusting.
It's disgusting.
Save the children. Yeah, save me too.
Yeah, save 2. 1 for dessert. Sorry, I derailed this. That was my fault.
You can be a jerk and say you're building a startup and you need some low-cost factory workers.
Exactly. See? Now you're in the spirit.
Did you say save on children?
Can I buy them by the dozen?
Bulk discount on children. I mean, save the puppies is never a bad idea.
Yeah, I mean,
For a
because
title.
it doesn't make any sense, and yet it makes total sense. So
And yet
that
it's
works for
hilarious.
us.
Yeah.
Save the puppy, yes, no, is the title.
Yeah.
As suggested.
Oh, cute.
Yeah.
We like graphical titles here. So I'm gonna save all my nice stuff to say about Tom for Friday. But that was very nice.
You're not leaving.
No, I know, but like.
I ain't dying, Jenny.
You gotta let her leave a little bit so that she can have the good going away
I
kudos.
know.
Though.
You're right. You're right.
You gotta give her a party. You better have a cake.
No cake.
Donuts.
I've had enough cake in life.
What?
So much cake.
Have a cake at the meetup.
Well, yeah, that we can do actually. We could have pie at the
We'll have
meetup.
a donut cake.
Donut cake.
That's a thing.
I will
Yes.
be.
Oh my God, Molly! They had a donut cake at the Stuck in the Middle premiere party. It was a donut tower. Just a tower of donuts with little baby donuts falling off the side.
I blinked so hard my contact almost fell out. Like I need a donut cake immediately. Like I went like all crazy eyeballs and then it dried out and then I blinked and almost popped out. That's how excited I am about donut cake. I'm
That
googling
is
this.
pretty exciting.
It's okay. You don't have to humor me on that one.
By the
Donut
way-
cake.
I ate it. It was exciting. Wait. So group question. What are you awing at? You just
The donut cake
Oh.
photo that I just found on the Goog.
So while we're looking at donut cake, question. I, Jenny Josephson, could go right now at the end of the show and stand in line for probably an hour and a half and get Shake Shack to say I got it on the first day. Or I could remember that I had Shake Shack a week and a half ago in New York 3 times.
You're good.
And maybe wait.
Wait, I need more data. What's Shake Shack?
Oh,
Shack.
come to
The fast food
America.
To America, Patrick. Shake Shack is a very good high-end burger place that serves. There's nothing extraordinary about the burgers except the overall deliciousness of them.
They're
Okay,
really
then
good.
my question
They're
is,
really good.
why would you not do that?
Oh, good answer.
That's a good answer. And I think my only thing is maybe it's going to be a little sunshiny and maybe I could do better things to prepare for next. No, just go.
The only reason you wouldn't do it is you didn't want to deal with the crowd because it's going to be
Right.
huge.
Right, but my
Ah.
feeling is the crowd will never be not huge.
It'll never not be huge for like years.
But
years.
it will be at its hugest right now.
Right. And
But
also,
yeah, so what's the differential there? What's the
part
over
of
under?
the fun would be taking Matt.
Why? Because you've never been.
No, I think I took him once to New York and he loved it so much, but he did not get to travel all that much. So I should probably be like Star Wars and not go see it the first second it's available and wait for the one I love.
Only
thought
'cause
you were
you're
gonna
waiting
say
for the one you
we should
love.
Do it like Star Wars, and we should take a whole row of
32
people there.
people,
Right, and go like 30 times.
Yeah, that's fair. Fair.
Shit, you guys, like a donut cake is just 2 bundt cakes. I could do this. I can totally make it with pound cake.
Yep.
Yeah,
You just
but will
put
it
them
be
together, and then you put cream in the middle and then chocolate over the top with Smarties. I wish I could. How can I drop a photo into our Hangout? Do I have to just IM it to Tom?
You can do share screen, but just
Ooh, that's
so there's
dangerous.
nothing on-
Be
I don't
careful.
want to do that. No.
No, just shared it. Oh wait, you don't. Are you in Slack?
Green.
I'm sending an IM to Tom. Will he get it?
An IM.
A Hangout. I send you a Hangout.
So is
IM.
So is
Did
the
you send
title?
it to my AIM?
I am like
Did you use
100
ICQ?
years old.
Did we just? Was there a title settled on? I totally missed that.
Puppies.
Puppies.
Yeah.
The top one about puppies in the check boxes.
It's crazy that I can't just like put a picture.
You can share screen.
I know.
And you can choose to only share a window, so you're safer, which is what I'm about to do. There you go.
Okay.
Do you see that?
Look at that.
That is a donut cake.
That's a donut
That's
cake.
what that is.
That's totally. I can do that with my eyes closed.
That's amazing.
Wait, are those? That's a cake donut. So that's cake donut. That's not like a raised donut.
Right. Exactly. It'd be a cake donut cake.
That'd be a big donut to fry, I'd say. If you
Yeah.
were
It's
frying
not
it.
fried. That's clearly like 2 cakes baked in a bundt pan, just stuck together.
By the way, this is reminding me that over the weekend at South by Southwest, someone was talking to me about the olden days of podcasting, and they said, "Do you know what the one podcast I miss the most of all podcasts that aren't around anymore? Gadgets."
Oh.
Really?
So I thought I would pass that along.
That's so sweet. Man, I have to say, the people who can attach to gadgets, like, attached for life.
This would have been a perfectly legitimate topic on gadgets.
That's true. We would have spent, like, a really long time on it. Especially if there were some sort of a vibrator tie-in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which-
I can only type it for 1 second. 1 second.
She's like, whoa, 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 train, back on the tracks, back on the track.
How do you think you whip the cream? I mean,
I think Jenny and I could. I'm walking away from that. Just witness me walking away. I think Jenny and I could probably restart gadgets.
Oh my God.
mm-hmm.
Goals.
Goals. I know exactly. Year 2. It's a year 2 goal.
You have
Well,
a
we
built-in, like,
We didn't plug. You know what we didn't plug?
what?
Hmm.
The dispatch.
Oh, that's true. I have a new project.
Did
I'm
you
sorry.
know that Molly
Yeah.
had a new project?
We slipped right past your actual projects. Yes,
know.
plug the dispatch.
Oh, because we were talking about Jenny. I do have a new project, though. Don't call it a podcast. It's an audio.
For years.
It's been here for years. It's an audio memo with an RSS feed. The dispatch is my new audio memo from Marketplace, and it's weekly. I've done 6 whole episodes. This week is going to feature some audio from GDC, and then some other stuff. And it's short.
For someone that we know here.
Yeah, it does. It features your homie, co-director of Nerdtacular, Corinne Lewis.
Yep.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, Jenny put us in touch yesterday and I interviewed
That's
her.
great.
And she's wonderful. She's amazing. I basically was like, hey, what the hell is going on in Game Land? And she was like, whoop,
Let me
here
tell
you go. Here's 17 story ideas. And I was like, you're awesome. But yeah, you can find it at marketplace.org. It does have an RSS feed. It's not listed on the podcatchers now, so you have to add it manually. But I think everybody
Because it
here
is
knows how to do
merely
that.
a feed of audio enclosures.
Exactly. It is simply a delivery format.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's a
and I'm
really
very
simple
excited about it. It's like a little bit skunkworks, and it is not going to take up 30 minutes of your time. It is a 6-minute show. It's
Yeah.
a snack. This is a little baby snack.
It's a
In and
snack
out.
cast.
Snack cast.
That's what we should call it.
We should totally. That's it. Yep.
That's what Jim
It's not-
Louderback used to call stuff at Revision 3, snackable content.
Yeah. I mean, that's been around for sure, and this is that.
But I don't think anyone's used Snackcast.
I think Snackcast is where it's at. I'm going to start.
Unless there's a podcast about snacks, which could
I'm going to
be
use that in my. Well, there is now after this donut talk. I'm going to use that in my intro. I'm going to say this is my Snackcast. TM, Daily Tech News Show.
There's a hashtag.
TM Jenny
There's a
Josephson.
Twitter account
For what, Snackcast?
for Snackcast.
It's like all over the place. I'll get sued. They're like, you can't call it a Snackcast.
Don't call it a Snackcast. There's a
It's been
Facebook
here
group.
for years.
What the heck? Snackcast is totally a thing? Wow, you guys. are good to
Rachel
know.
Tratch's late night Snackcast on True TV.
Oh my
I
god.
think that's actually about snacks, though.
Wow.
Wow. Snackcast is about. They all do seem to be about food.
Yeah.
It's an easy topic to cast about.
It is.
Doritos.
As you may have noticed, I hijacked our show to talk about.
Well, it's one of the few that you can get heated about, but not have to worry about offending anyone.
That's true, unless you go off on vegetarians or whatever, Yeah.
Well, then
Yeah.
you're going off on lifestyle.
But you can have a big fight about like which Doritos you prefer, and you can do that all night, and people will love it, and you won't make anyone mad. I hope no one gets like super angry over Cool Ranch Doritos versus whatever fire.
I mean, it's no Bud versus Coors debate. But
That's serious. That's serious business, Roger.
it is. People like their crappy beers.
Haven't they become all one company yet?
Yeah.
I think they're owned by a Brazilian company, InBev.
Yeah.
Anheuser-Busch is now. Is it No, Miller. The one that makes Coors is.
Coors is still separate.
The devil.
Hold on, I covered this on the morning show, and now I can't remember it because it was
I
like
think
4
Miller
a.m.
and Bud are part of InBev, and then
And Coors is part of the other one. Wait,
and those two are trying to merge or something. Is that right? I don't remember.
the Brazilian company was going to buy them. Dang it! I did like AB InBev is Budweiser, Corona, Stella Artois, but then which is and that's the SAB Miller merger. Yes, so then Miller and Bud will be under the same roof.
Heresy.
Shocking.
But Coors is still entirely separate. Is that what that means?
Parent brand? I don't know. That's my Google face.
Golden, Colorado.
So the parent is Anheuser-Busch InBev.
Yeah, they're SAB Miller. So Coors will also be with Bud and Miller.
So that's what it was. So
they're
Coors
going to be
and Miller
partying
were
together.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Coors and Miller were already together, owned by SAB Miller, and now they're exploring the merger with Anheuser with
So
AB InBev.
It become SAB InBev Miller.
Exactly.
And now the numbers.
So basically, it'll be just like in The Simpsons, where they have the 3 variations of Duff, but it's really just the same Duff.
Oh my God! It's totally just like that. That is awesome. That is awesome.
We don't drink Duff here. We drink Fudd.
Fudd.
Genius.
He goes to Shelbyville, and that's where he meets Lorleen, the country.
Lorleen.
You know what's
the waitress,
so funny?
country singer.
I don't know if they do this on purpose, but I know those place names are chosen based on the Northeast, but they fit Illinois.
Yeah.
Springfield is north of Greenville, and Shelbyville is a little closer to Greenville, but you can get to Springfield from Shelbyville.
This argument has definitely been had on the internet.
I just think a lot of cities in America have the same name.
Yeah, they do. But do they Simpsons pick the ones that they know will have the most
resonance?
Like the most commonality?
I mean, there's literally a Springfield in every state in the country.
Guys,
is there a Shelby?
Helper.
It is Santa's Little Helper. I know he does kind of look like Santa's Little Helper. We've
Springfield,
had that conversation
California.
too.
That's in Tualatin.
There's a Greenville in like all but 3 states, I think.
All right, we have to go back to work. I know he's pretty mellow today.
Yeah, I'm almost done. Thanks again, Molly.
That was super fun. I loved it. Let's do that more.
Yes.
Thanks, Patrick, for the topic.
Thank you for being right.
You know, that is actually one of the pride that I will keep in my heart for a long time. So thank you for giving me the opportunity
to be right.
All right, thank you very much.
You polished that trophy, buddy. You polished it.
All right. Hey, I don't have many, so I get the ones I can.
All right. Bye, everyone.
See you, Molly.
Dude.
That was a long export for some reason. I guess it was a little bit of a longer show, so maybe that's why.
So what does this mean with CBS planning to part with its radio group? I wonder what that means about network radio. Did you see this? CBS is going to sell off its 44 stations.
Are they going to sell it to Clearcast? Or Clear, whatever the...
Clear Channel.
Clear Channel, sorry.
All right, I am out of the post. Thanks everybody for watching. We will talk VR tomorrow.